There's literally so much to cover. I really don't know where to start. But we're gonna get to it, man. We're gonna get to it, bro. I promise. I promise.
DJ Hollygrove.
I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it. Yes, sir. Test 1 2. Turn this up a little bit. Yo, rock out like I said, man.
This is Not Slopped.
Producer on my little wall. How's no? Now let me get up to the track. Let's get up.
Twerk your fast ass, girl, you bounce back that. I know you back that. You like to
Bring it back.
twerk your fast ass, girl, you bounce back that. I know you back that.
Hold on, play.
Twerk your fast ass, girl, you bounce back that. I know you back that. You like to get to the bag fast. You got class, you bitches hate they mad ass. Girl, you bad, man. I told you to send me a cash tag. They was hating on your fault. You got the last laugh. Now you dripping in Christian, y'all. Bitches hating more. Long as them Louboutins hitting the block, bitches getting ignored. Pressure, yeah, they more and more. You said that you step in the door. Boss, babe, you do it all. You need reward. Bust down, iced out. Used to whip in the car. Ass fat, clap, clap, encore. It's the face for me. Girl, you buy. It's the cake for me. You got. It's the waist for me. You don't have. Bitches hate you, say it. You ain't your bag. They lie. You ain't your bag. They lie. You ain't your bag. It's the face for me. Damn, you look great to me. I know your ex mad. He's somewhere I hate to be. You on the date with me. Won't let you get away from me. Come out the back keys. All your secrets safe with me. Girl, you better believe you're the only one I want to see. Let's go overseas. Bad, look what the fuck gonna be. Cover phone, be out of left, be out of reach. It's the queen for me.
We'll find out how to share the Instagram on what, man.
Make you scream for me, feel like a dream to me. You know what you mean to me. Got me take it to me. Girl, that has fat, make it encore. Make it, girl, that has fat, make it encore. Make it, girl, that has fat, make it encore. Make it, clap, clap, make it encore, baby. It's the face for me, girl, you buy. It's the cake for me, you got. It's the waist for me, you don't have. Bitches hate you, say it. You ain't your bag. They lie. You ain't your bag. Make them mad. They lie. You ain't your bag.
Once again, the brand new Smizzy for me is out on all streaming platforms right now. So make sure y'all go stream the regular speed version, of course, you hear me? This is the Not Slopped version.
Yes, sir. Hold up, man. Hold up. All right, let me get everybody set up, man. You already know what it is, bro. We are back. It's good to see everybody, man. Hold on, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. That's what y'all want. All right. Hopefully I can hear that a little bit, coming in a little loud. All right, there we go. Let me turn this down a little bit, man. We bake, man. We bake. Yes, sir. Make sure y'all can see everything real quick. What's my chat? There we go. It's good to be back. It's good to miss y'all a little bit, man. I'm gonna have some music playing in the background because I think we need it. I think just me talking is probably not gonna, probably a little boring. So I'm trying to spice it up just a little bit if y'all don't mind, man. Well, let's see. There we go. All right. What's going on, ladies and gents? It's Hans Nobi. You already knew that because you're in the live stream. Let me pull up this. Where we at? There we go. Let me pull this up, man. It's good to see everybody. Today's tequila of choice is Santerra. I got it from the bottle store. It's pretty cool. It's a Blanco. It doesn't have like the greatest aftertaste, but it's cool. It's cool. So this week has been kind of crazy for me. Crazy for me and crazy out there. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but it's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on between distributors. Lots of stuff going on in regards to like catalogs being sold for massive amounts of money. In hip hop community, we recently had an artist out of Memphis who unfortunately passed away. There's just a lot going on, man. So I'm gonna try to get to everything as much as I can. And yeah, man. So what I wanted to do actually was, again, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, bro, but United Masters is making some serious moves, my guy. Let me actually get right into it. So, but before we get into it, I just want to touch base on like my week. So my week's been kind of crazy. So this entire week, all I wanted to do was just focus on admin for Room 380 and what that has looked like for the most part. Let me make sure my levels is coming in. What that has looked like for the most part is just me just working on services we'll provide to artists, as well as talking to different musicians, other producers that we can delegate some tasks to, some songwriters. We got a writing camp that's coming up. We have another one as we get ready to pitch records. And I'm just doing a lot of stuff in the back end to help you guys out in regards to like working with us, so you guys can get a lot more, because I really want to see the records that we work on succeed, and that's important to me because those records are just as much as ours as they are of yours. So if it's a bad record, it doesn't just affect you, it affects us, and that's a no-go. That's no bueno over here, man. So I want to make sure that we provide you guys with as much support as possible, so that way those records can get off the ground, you can make money, and hopefully we continue working with each other. So that's what's been going on with me. Outside of that, man, again, I'm subscribed to a lot of different newsletters. I'm subscribed to a lot of different publications and stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff going on. I really didn't know like what to touch base on in regards to today's stream, but I think I narrowed it down, and I'll give you some insights to like what started the title. The title of today is the hustle for data. I've kind of touched base on this a little bit, but what I really want to do is like get into it today, because when I talk to a lot of you guys in regards to working on your projects, in regards to working on your singles, your EPs, your LPs, or stuff for like your documentaries, like every now and again we'll get a media company that wants to reach out to us who work on music for their documentary. And the thing that I notice is that a lot of you guys actually don't have the right perception of data. So I'll tell you a story. So this artist reached out to me because he wanted to work with us, and he wanted a single. And when I asked him, I said, do you have an idea of who your fan base is? And he told me who he wants to pitch the record to. I said, cool. Do you have any data to show what type of content you're putting out now that's going to get you across that demographic? And of course, there was a silence on the phone. And I asked again. I said, do you know? He said, I don't know. I said, okay, so what is your main demographic? He said, I think it's, black, male, gender, this, that, and the third, I said, do you have data to prove that? He said, no. The thing is, he just doesn't know where to look. And so what I want to do is go into like why the conversation for data is still very relevant and important, and why guys like Offset from like the Migos, why he paid attention to it so much is because that data is going to show you exactly like what's happening in regards to like what your fan base actually wants. And it's more than just getting a couple of likes and comments on your posts. It's actually much deeper, because if you don't know what your fan base wants, then that means you don't know what type of music you need to make. So everyone has a wide variety of songs that they want to put out. You know, today you may talk about, you know, how you started your company, and then the next day you may talk about how you want to set up and watch Netflix, and then the next day you want to sit up and talk about how you want to buck the system or whatever. All that is fine, but do you know where to house that content? Do you know where to place it? This is something that we focus on, but I want to focus it on you and how you can actually get the ball rolling and pay attention to that data. So I want to show you today exactly why that's important, and why you're overlooking it, and how you're giving that stuff away for free, and you could be using it to monetize. So I don't know if you guys have been looking up, but like United Masters have been making some like serious headway. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like United Masters just reached a $550 million evaluation. So let's stop there. You know, we like to break stuff down here because we're very analytical. So here it says United Masters platform reached a $550 million valuation. What does that even mean, right? This is where we nerd out and everything else, but let's look this up. So it's an estimation, you guys probably guessed it, an estimation of something's worth, especially one carried out by a professional appraiser. So right there, what that makes me go is, so who is saying that this company is worth $550 million? And why do they feel like it's worth $550 million? And why does this need to be announced? So if you know anything about United Masters, if you guys have been paying attention, because some of you guys are actually signed up with United Masters. United Masters is a distribution company. So much like your DistroKids, your TuneCores, and your CD Babies, this is another distributor. Now, what makes this one different from the other distributors is that they have a partnership with the NBA. So I know for a fact. So my man Jew Fresh, who's a artist and producer from Houston who lives out in Atlanta, he recently got one of his songs placed in an NBA commercial, and I know that was great for him because he was, we're not to put the business out there, but it was very, very good look for him, and it helped him out tremendously. I just say that. But outside of the NBA, the other thing that they sell on is that they can give you great insights into your fans as far as what they like. Now, in regards to data, I'm not going to pull up my stuff and be intrusive. What I want to do is, let's take a look at, let's see, Spotify. And I'll actually tie this into what Tidal is doing, right? So Spotify user data. Right, so the reason why data is so important is that what data can tell you is trends that are happening, because trends are cyclical. They can tell you where the attention is going, what your users like, and you can also get information like their birthdays, their address, their likes, their interests and stuff like that. And if you have your own platform, well, you sell it to marketing companies. So if I have 75 million users that are using my platform, I'm pretty sure other marketing companies are going to want insight on that data. So for instance, if I am let's say for instance, like I'm a data agency, and let's say a headphone company, I have some headphones here, a headphone company wants to say, hey, look, we want to market, we know what our demographic is, our core demographic, but what we want to do is we want to make sure we get our product placement in front of the right places, and we also want to see exactly what they're doing, so we plan out our advertising and marketing strategy for the next 6 to 9 months, right? Well, if I have 75 million users, I can give you all kind of data. I can sell that. Now, in the fine print, if you sign up for Spotify, right? Let's see, let's do support. If you sign up for Spotify, they'll tell you data rights and privacy, understanding my data, this, that, and the third, information you share with us, right? Of course, this is getting very geeky, but I just want to just give context here. If you read all this stuff, you're pretty much agreeing that, hey, I am going to give such and such and such and such and such. And for us creatives, music artists and producers and engineers that use Spotify for whatever, even if it's to sign up for Sound Better, every time we add an app that syncs up with Spotify, we're giving them that data. So people freak out all the time about, oh, I went on Instagram or I went on Facebook and I saw this t-shirt and I commented on somebody's post, and then I saw the same t-shirt on Instagram. It's like, yeah, because all that stuff is cross-pollinating, because you can sell that to advertisers. So how this affects you as an artist is that if you have the data of your users, well, now you have leverage. So if a watch company or a headphone company comes up to you and say, hey, when I'm partnering with you, you can actually sell that data if you wanted to. Now, of course, there's rules and regulations saying what you can and can't do, but we all know that everyone's data is being sold. We can go ahead and throw that conversation out the window. Now, how this affects you as an artist. So if you are signed up to United Masters and you have great insight to what's going on in your the platform for, like, with the users, you can see where the users are located, you can see what city, state, you can see what gender, you can see what age. It's the type of stuff you see on Instagram. In fact, let's actually pull it up, just use it as an example, right? So Instagram.com, let's say analytics. Let's see if we can get an image going here. Okay, so let's use this one as an example. Let's see if I can make this big. Hold on, see if I can find. Okay, cool. I don't know if that's big enough for you guys. Let me zoom in. I'll go back. Okay, cool. All right. So looking at this, can y'all see this? I hope y'all can. Hold on, pull this out. Oh, okay. I am tripping. There we go. All right. All right. So looking at this as an example, right? So let's say this is your analytics. Now, right here, the reason why this stuff is important is whenever you're creating your content, you need to know exactly what your fans like, your followers like, and everything else if you're looking to do like Instagram ads or Facebook ads, right? So just taking a look here. Okay, cool. So growth. So that means within the past, was this 15? No, that's what, 6 days? That's a week, right? So for this account here, this person has grown 43 followers, or they had 54 follows. They had 11 unfollows and they had 43 overall. Okay, cool. Here, this is going to tell me the location. Now, why is this important? So let's say, for instance, you are going on tour and you start to notice, oh, I didn't know there was a little bit of a fan base in Vancouver. Well, if you're going to create those ads, you can actually point the information toward Vancouver and see if you can generate enough interest. You can actually take that data and use that as leverage for a venue. Say, hey, I want to book here because I have data to show boom, 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 boom. And if you think people are not doing that, like booking agents and music managers, you sleep, because that's exactly what's happening. Hold on, put this down. That's exactly what's happening, because you have to be able to show proof of concept or proof of the idea that, okay, cool, they have a fan base here. So if it's like, hey, yo, I can show that I can fill the venue with like 100 people or whatever else, that'll give you more leverage over someone to say, hey, I want to perform here or whatever else. You can take this to certain DJs in the area. You can take this to certain producers, studios, this, that, and third, because if you can show proof, like, hey, I have a huge fan base here, you can actually do that. Again, the whole purpose of the live stream is I want you to start thinking about yourself differently, because these artists that you look up to, these independent artists that you look up to that are killing it, this is the type of stuff that they're into. I guarantee you someone like Russ, like Griselda, they're not really independent, but you know what I'm saying. Tech Nine, some of the product, like all those independent artists that are like really killing it, they're looking at this stuff. They have to, or at least their team is, because how are you going to know where you need to point your efforts? So if you want, so let's say for instance you're based here in, let's say this is East Rutherford, right, New Jersey. If you found out that a lot of your followers were from London, and you're like, why can't I get a show in New Jersey, or why I'm not showing love, getting love in New Jersey? It's like, fam, maybe because your content is attracting people somewhere else. This stuff is important. So when you're looking at this data, you need to know exactly what to do, and this will definitely help you do that. The next one we're going to take a look at is age range. Now, this one I'm a bit skeptical about, and the reason why is because I've seen a couple of artists that reach out to us in regards to looking at their data, and I was like, I know for a fact your followers is not 25 to 34. That seems sort of general, but here it is, right? And if you want to, turn that up again when you target those ads, you know where to point it. 18 to 24, right? And then you get real-time feedback and say, okay, my followers, or people on the platform rather, who are between the age of 18 and 24, they really don't like this content. So then, okay, cool. Because it takes money to make money, and the thing about marketing is that's like their motto. So they don't mind throwing $15,000 at an idea, because their whole goal is awareness. It's like, if we educate the consumer enough, then they're going to sell. That's why, like, here's a little game here. And I heard this on a podcast. But if you focus on the marketing and less about the sales, it makes the conversion much easier, because all you're doing is educating your consumer or your fans. You're not trying to say, hey, click this link. It's more of like, hey, this is the process, this, that, and the third. This is where I did to create the record. This is where we recorded it. If you do that enough times and you do it well enough, your followers and your fans will your followers will convert over to fans. So that's how you get the pre-save links. That's how they start, clicking and saving the iTunes link and everything else. But that's a little game for you. But to do that, you need to understand this data here. Next thing is the audience. So I think that's the ages. So next is this is the gender. So we did this for an artist, and this was kind of crazy. So on their YouTube page, we looked at this artist's stuff, right? And so he thought that most of his fans were women, which is funny that I'm seeing this here. And he was like, yeah, women love me, this, that, and the third. I don't really make content for the guys or whatever. Cool. Looked at his YouTube page, because that's where he was converting. That's where a lot of people were actually clicking on a link to buy. Just like, because, in YouTube, you can put like a store at the bottom of your videos where people can buy like your t-shirts, headbands, or whatever else. And he thought that the conversion was mostly women. Well, here's the thing. He was getting the attention of women, but the gender that was converting the most were men. So even though men took up I think they took up maybe 20% of like his subscribers, but out of every 10, I think out of every 10 guys, I think 3 or 4 were buying products, and for women it was like out of every 1.7 or something. 1.7 out of 10 was buying this product. So he was astounded. That's why this stuff is so important, is because if he hadn't found that out and he kept running his marketing to grab the attention of women and he wasn't focusing on the guys, he would have lost out. He wouldn't have gotten a big ass return. So I'm wondering, I'm curious to see how this, because they're gonna run their campaign for the next 3 months. So we won't know until February, right? Hold on, November, December, January, February. Right, because it's starting in the last week of November. So we won't know until the end of February. It's going to be around my birthday. But that's why this stuff is important. Now, go back here. Reset. All right. So now that we got that out the way, as far as reading that, this is just from your Instagram page. You can do the same thing for like Apple Music, Spotify, whatever else. This stuff is important. Now, imagine, now we'll take Instagram for example, or United Masters. Now you're going through them and they're distributing the music. They get an ISRC and this, that, and the third. Now they have this real-time data. So for you as a consumer or as a user of their platform, now they have all the information. So now they know, oh, so we're noticing a huge influx of people, you know, who want to get drill, who want to listen to drill music. So they can use that data for whatever else. That's why this stuff is important. Now, here's the thing. This is where the controversial line comes in. So, peep this. You can do this yourself. You don't have to go through United Masters. Oh, not that one. So, look. ISRC.com. Is this okay? I don't know if this is the proper site. Give me a second here. Oh no, it is. Sorry. So get this. You can create your own ISRC. Now here's the whole thing. Now I was in the Clubhouse chat with Billboard Baby when she was going back and forth with the founder. He's either founder or co-founder of DistroKid. And when she was going in on him and everything else, what he was trying to convey to her was that, yeah, you can get your own ISRC, but that's why you get us is because we have a system to get you the ISRC like that. You don't have to go do the work. And she made some valid points, but unfortunately it got lost in the way she was delivering the message. But the reason why I want to bring this up is because you can get your own ISRC. So think about it. If you get your own ISRC, you can then get on the Spotify, the Deezer, the YouTube. You can distribute your own stuff and go through there. Now, the only thing is, it's going to take a bigger task. You know, so when you get TuneCore. So if you think about, like, let's see, DistroKid, distribution. I think they distribute to. You're going to log it to myself. That's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. So you can see, so for me, for my 4-pack, you can see where they distribute. Hold on, let's see. And there's the ISRCs that they've given us. Spotify, CC stores. Okay, here you go. Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Rezo, YouTube, Amazon, Soundtrack by Twitch, Pandora, Deezer, Tidal, iHeartRadio, Claro Musician, said whatever that is. Some Boomplay out in Africa. I think that's more Kenya than rather the whole continent of Africa, but I'm not sure. Ngami, KKBox, NetEase, Tencent, Triller, Yandex Music, and MediaNet. Now, you pay your subscription, whether it's per year, per month, or whatever, for them to take care of this for you. If you wanted to get on there yourself, you can. So for instance, let's say for instance for iTunes, submit music to iTunes. There's a process for it. Get past blah 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 blah, whatever, blah 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 blah. Can I offer my content to iTunes Direct application? Boom. And there you go. Now the thing is, as you do this, you have to do this for Apple Music. You have to do this for Spotify. You have to do this for YouTube with the YouTube Content ID, Deezer, blase, Pandora. I just applied for Dropify, which is playing in the background in this video, to get on Pandora. I did that myself, right? So you can do the same thing yourself. The question is, do you want to do that yourself? But if you have it, if you have your own ISRC and you're willing to do the work, you don't need the distributors, which means they don't take their 10%, 20%, or whatever the agreement was. I forgot. I think it's 10% from your streams. So that means you get a bit more on the back end for the mechanical, right? So you have to understand, what you're signing up for when you're signing up for these distribution services, because it's real easy to get lost in the sauce. Because whether that's TuneCore, DistroKid, CD Baby, United Masters, there's another one. I forgot the name of the other one. Let me look that up. See, music distribution services. What's the other one? Ditto was AWOL. I forget about AWOL. AWOL's a little different. I think you have to apply for AWOL. And I think you have to have like a certain amount of like streams and so on and so forth. Sorry. You have to have like a certain amount of streams and whatever have you. So there's that. But again, what are you, again, it's a question of like, what are you signing up for if you can do it yourself? And what you're really signing up for is ease. And what these services were for originally, much like my man Jew Fresh, they got his music on the NBA commercial, is they can pitch it for you. So one company I want to point out, and I'm giving just a whole bunch of free shout outs. Boy, y'all owe me a check. The Orchard, right? Music distribution company here in New York. And I know a guy that worked. I actually worked with his artist, Kevin Cartier, out in Mississippi. But he works for the Orchard, and when you sign up to work with them, you get your own project manager, right? You get someone who's signed an admin to get yourself placed, because again, it's their cut. So if it's 10, 20, or 30%, every time your song is placed in radio, this, that, and the third, they get a cut. However, the question that no one seems to ask is, okay, cool. Well, if this is true, that's 60,000 tracks per MBW or uploads to Spotify every day. How many are DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby? We add United Masters in there, and Ditto. So you have to ask, well, if you divided this by 5, that's what, 12,000 tracks per day? So even if you have a hit record, how are you getting in front of these people if the company itself is receiving 12,000? That means they're getting 60,000 per work week, Monday through Friday. That doesn't include Saturday and Sunday. So if you add 12 more, see, that'd be 72, 86. So that's per week. No, I'm sorry, that's 60,000. My fault. That's 60. For each company. That means it's somewhere in the range of 86,000 songs per week that they're getting. How are these companies able to pitch you to the proper channels for syncs, NBA commercials, and this, that, and the third? It's a luck of the draw. So what Billboard Baby was saying in the chat was, well, why don't we just do this ourselves? And the thing is, you can. It's just, are you willing to do the work? The game here is delegation. It's, if you for you guys that have like your own music labels and companies, the game here is delegation. You can do the work yourself, or do you want to pay to have someone delegated? But the thing is, what kind of service are you getting? But if you're willing to find, not production assistants, what am I trying to say? Music directors for TV and film, video games, commercials, websites, because one of my songs got placed on a website and I got paid for it. That was through Sonic Bits way back in the day. It's a lingerie site, believe it or not. And this and that. If you're willing to do the work yourself, you don't need this is what Russ and the rest of them talk like. You don't really need them. It's just, are you willing to do the work? If you're willing to do the work, you're good. You don't need this stuff. But the thing is, are you willing to wait 3 or 4 or 5 years to create that relationship to get that one placement that can take you off, if that happens? if it takes one place, and like Lizzo on the Netflix show that we were reviewing 2-3 streams ago or whatever, that I couldn't find her producer that signed with the other producer for whatever reason. Are you willing to do the work? And if you are, you good. You don't need this. You can do whatever. But that's really what it comes down to, man, is the data. If you have your own data, that means you can create that means you know what kind of content you need to create. You know where to target your ads. You can take that data and leverage it. You can go to a restaurant and say, hey, look, some of the marketing dollars, send that over to me. Let's do a brand partnership. I have the demographic you're looking for. This is the location, boom, 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 boom. And you can show proof. You have the data right there. Now, the numbers lie sometimes, yes, but it gives you leverage. You can have those boss conversations. But if you're not willing to do that, then... And then plus only that, you got this other thing. I told myself I wasn't going to... let's see. Why can't I spell today? Royalty rate. I told myself I wasn't going to touch base on this anymore. But I just want to touch base on it one more time. So, if the royalty rates are going down, meaning your payout, because you know it's already pennies, like 0.00015 cents or whatever. If it goes down to like 0.00008 cents or whatever, then fam, like, you just putting your music on Spotify don't mean jack. Or iTunes. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, we're past that. Like, that's... I just want to make sure I put out enough content to help you build a foundation so that way you understand, like, we are past this whole conversation of just put it out and see what happens. That was for the birds back in 2016, because I got hired to produce this girl's record, and she was in New Orleans at the time, and her engineer, for a song that was not even remotely finished, convinced her, yo, just put it out and see what happens. It's like, to who? On Spotify. To who? Like, who you putting it out to? Like, who you directing this to? What's the demographic? What's the advertising plan? What's the marketing plan? What are we doing? You just put it out and that's it. So, artists like that, I don't even talk to. Because either you're nowhere near the level you need to be at to have this conversation, or you just don't care. That's it. There's only two buckets for me. Either you're not at the level yet and you'll get there, and there's plenty of content out there to direct you, or you just don't care. And based on my conversations, I want to say about half the artists I talk to, maybe even 65% if I'm being completely honest, don't care. And that's cool, but like, don't come out here crying like, oh, it's so hard. It's like, fam, like, we passed that. Your favorite artists are not putting out music saying that's it. Like, they have to make their money somehow. The music is used as a promotional vehicle for something else. It's not. Come on, man. Not a big fan of that tequila, but that's what I want you to learn. So now that I've gotten that, let's sort of circle back to this whole thing, right? So if they have data like you have on your fans about you artists, now you can kind of understand the deeper conversation I'm ready to get into in regards to the rights conversation, which is why people are selling their catalogs for... I'm put my watch on D&D. Why people are putting their catalogs up and selling the catalogs for like $330 million. There's a reason for that. Because if I have this data, if I buy your catalog from, let's say I buy your complete catalog from you, and I have this data here as far as where fans like to, you're giving me the data. You sign up, you use the service, you will distribute it, cool. But think about the data you're giving me. Not only on you as an artist, but think about you're giving me. So there are listeners, the average music consumer probably listen to like maybe 6 or 7 different artists, like for real. I'm not talking about like the one-offs, like you'll visit somebody's album once every 3 years. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like real, like they're avid listeners. The average music consumer only listens to about 6 or 7. And what I mean by that is like you're like they are eager for that person's album. If you want me to be gracious, say 10 to 12. Okay, cool. I will say 10 to 12. No problem. But you're giving them data on those people, because what they don't show to you on this side, right, in regards to what you see here, is the names of the people that they're collecting. And if you don't, it's that's impossible, because on your website you can track all that data yourself. So what do you think a Facebook, a meta company, that's so weird, a metaverse company has on these apps? Especially if most people have integrated their Facebook pages, personal profile pages, with their Instagram page. I already know who you are. I know your likes, I know your political views, this, that, and the third. So if I'm Instagram, I have everything I need to know about what's going on in the world. That's why this whole Cambridge thing, if you guys remember, is it Cambridge? Data breach or whatever? What was it? Yeah, Cambridge Analytica. If you guys watch that thing on Netflix, I think it's called Social, whatever. What was the name of it? Netflix? Watch the Great Hack. That's why this stuff is so important. It's because look what you can do with data. Like everyone who watches this, whether that's today or 5 years from now, has at one point had to cut a friend off because of the shit that they were saying on Facebook, because something incited an emotion in them, and because they couldn't discern what they were saying, they said something stupid online, and you had to cut them off. Everyone, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, everyone has had to at some point where you're just like, fam, what is going on? Because of the data, I know what to put in front of you. So if I'm United Masters, it's not so much the information that they have on the artists, is that they're using artists, and I have to be gracious with my words here, because they are allowing they're getting artists on their platform. They're able to access data to their fan bases that they can later sell or they can use themselves. Because if I know that you based in Baton Rouge or in Detroit, Michigan, or Chicago, if I know that you have a stronghold on 2,000 people who are interested in this, that, and the third, and let's say the commonality with them is that they're into, I don't know, would say something obscure, NASCAR driving. I'm just saying something obscure. Then I can go to NASCAR and say, hey, look what I have. You need to do retargeting promotions, right? This is the price. You think they're gonna say no? They're like, oh, like, fam, I can tell you where they're located. I can tell you when they get on. I tell you all that information, because that's the game. So, as an independent artist, as someone who runs, their own label, that's why this data here is so important. If you can understand this, you become closer and closer to, like, my man Russ. You become closer and closer to, like, fam, if you think, even with these rap artists, if you think these rap artists understand what's going on here, or have at least a couple people around them to understand what's going on here, fam, you are tripping. You can't sell out shows as an independent artist and not understand what this is. It's more than just, I just put out great music and that's it. Fam, how do you know where to put that music in? Because great music is subjective. There are people who are not fans of Prince. There are people who are not fans of Michael. They're not fans of Beyonce. They're not fans of your favorite artist that you swear is da-da-da. Think about it. Everyone doesn't like every artist. So how do you know where to put these ads and how to, like, where to target this? Think about it. You're gonna do like you can catch like a super duper wide net and spend $100,000 on marketing just for tests, or you're gonna do like a quick $15,000 run, collect that data and go, okay, cool, these are the people that like it, and then retarget. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you understand this and why they're being evaluated for this, then you can go do this by yourself. Just, are you willing to put in the work? That's it. And you can do this stuff yourself. You don't need a manager. You can do this stuff yourself. It's just, are you willing to take the time out to do it? Because that's what some of these independent artists are doing. Like, they don't go through a distributor. They themselves. In fact, I'm almost willing to bet that some of these artists that have signed with these other distribution companies, that for like these bigger bags, that's how they were able to leverage that deal, was because, like, I don't. Here's the thing, it's almost like it's almost like trying to holler at a chick. It's like, if you talk to her like you don't need her, it piques her interest because you don't come off thirsty. It's like, I'm just having a regular conversation. You getting to know her, and you don't have to be like, oh, laid back and shit, like, whatever, it's whatever. But you can engage with her and see if she's interested. It's almost the same thing in business. Like, you don't have to do this thing where you're desperate, and that's where you lose your leverage. Is if you can learn how to build this stuff up on your own, you're golden. You're good. It's a much different conversation when you do it like this. And this is what I'm trying to say. So, understand data on all platforms. Sorry. I hope that's not too loud. Understand data on all platforms, and you'll have a much different conversation. But until then, you're gonna be at the mercy of the machine. And if you go through a distributor, it's totally okay. But just understand, like, you still got to do the work, because you're just paying them. Hey, just get me on these DSPs. I do everything else. Sorry, these companies are not. If these companies, think about you, if you're competing with Taylor Swift and Phineas and Olivia Rodrigo, who do you think is going to take precedence over you? You or Demi Lovato? Like, who do you think is going to be a bigger priority? You or Jason Derulo? Like, you get what I'm saying here? It's not to downplay your contribution. It's just that it's much bigger money if I focus on Travis Scott and make sure we get his music everywhere to generate those streams and everything else, so we can build this up, make more money, rather than focusing on you and getting like $200 or $300 every quarter, however much you're making. That's it, man. That's what I wanted to bring to you today. Again, there's still so much stuff to cover. It's ridiculous. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's pretty much it, man. And thoughts and prayers out to Young Dolph's family and his close friends, man. That was very sad. That this one rocked me. I haven't felt anything close to this since Nipsey passed, but this one rocked me because seeing him and his personality, and that's the thing that just sort of gets you. I didn't know him personally, but seeing his personality, he seemed like a pretty cool person who was like very much about being independent and doing things his own way. And to hear how how he passed and everything else was just, it's sad, man. Stay safe out there. As we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas, things will get crazier. You don't want to speak things into existence, but just make you aware. Carjackings and muggings will become more apparent everywhere. If you're here in New York City, it doesn't matter where you are. It can happen. Serena Williams got robbed in Tribeca. Think about that for a second. So, be safe out there. Be cognizant of your surroundings. Stay safe. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. We will not be doing a live stream, but I will be back the week after. Just be prepared for this Thanksgiving and Christmas season. I'm not going to be able to do it every Thursday because I'll be with family. But let me know in the comments, see if you guys find any value in this stream. Yeah, man, much love. It's Thursday here in New York City. It's a cool 68 degrees. I think I'm gonna go for a walk because I've been inside this office for the past week. I have not seen outside yet. If I do, it's at nighttime. But that's that's what I signed up for. I'm gonna go take a walk, chill, and then I'm gonna get right back on these beats for the first time all week. But yeah, much love. Take care. I'm gonna wrap this up, man. Peace. Cheers.